A 2-year-old girl in Ohio found dead in the freezing cold right on her front porch.
I just don't understand how a 2-year-old could be outside and you not know.
Girl was found by her mother Friday afternoon outside the home in Akron. The mom made a frantic call to 911. It was too late.
It was freezing. That was my biggest worry when the cops came. When they started asking about the kids, they didn't divulge what was really going on, but when he asked about the kids, obviously something was going on. And I was worried.
Yeah, that neighbor also saying she's had to take the little girl home before when she was outside playing alone. So far, no charges tonight.
A makeshift memorial of stuffed animals sits where a little girl once was.
Especially that baby is so young and innocent and, helpless outside, don't know what to do at that point.
Akron police investigating the 2-year-old's death. She was found unresponsive in the cold on her front porch Friday afternoon.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy because she was that young and what was she doing outside?
Shayla Johnson lives next door to the family at the apartment complex on Doty Drive and often saw the girl and her brother alone.
They would be out there just playing around. It would be her and her older brother just playing around outside at the park.
The tragic story reaching the pastor of a nearby church.
They need love and compassion and support is what they need.
Pastor Larry Baldridge says his community plans to reach out to the little girl's family.
Well, when the name's released, we will certainly be open to helping any way we can with the needs of the family, to offer any spiritual support or any other resources that we could possibly give to them.
Authorities have not released the cause of death at this time, but according to the Centers for Disease Control, young children have a higher risk of hypothermia and lose heat faster than adults.
They need to be protected, whether they got a scarf, gloves, because it's cold out here.
Johnson, who has 2 kids of her own, feels for the mother.
I'm just sad about it, honestly, because I couldn't imagine losing my child, especially that young.
YouTube, what's going on? Trey back again, hit you with a video. This video right here comes out of Akron, Ohio, where we have a 2-year-old girl. Yes, I said a 2-year-old girl who basically goes outside to play. The story goes, the father went to sleep some kind of way, evidently forgetting that the daughter was outside, and she wound up freezing to death on her very own front porch. Now that's a sad situation right there, because I don't understand how can anybody being in these situations, especially when you live up north and you know that it get very cold. Why would you let, number one, your 2-year-old go outside by themselves without any adult supervision? And at the same time, how could you sit down and rest? I don't care if I just got off of work. I'm gonna go outside with my daughter for a while, or sit right there where I can see her. And worst case scenario, at least have the door open. True, it might get cold in the house, but still, it's best to be cold in the house than have your daughter outside cold, dead, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna read a snippet from this story, and I will give my opinion, surely, as we go. 2-year-old girl found frozen to death on her own front porch. It's frigidly cold in many parts of the country, and that means parents are taking extra precautions to keep their kids safe in the dangerous temperatures. Unfortunately, a 2-year-old girl in Akron, Ohio, became a victim of that devastating cold. Neighbors are desperate for answers, after a toddler girl was found frozen to death on her own front porch. Now, Akron police say they were called to an apartment around 3:30 p.m. on Friday, February the 2nd, by a mom who said she found her daughter frozen and unresponsive outside. In a recording of a 911 call obtained by KTRK, a dispatcher can be heard explaining to the mom how to perform CPR to her little girl. You are going to carefully tilt the head back. You are going to pinch her nose closed and completely cover her mouth with your mouth, and then blow 2 regular breaths into the lungs, she explains. Now, police have not released the name of the toddler or her mom, but the Summit County Medical Examiner's Office tells Fox 8 the toddler suffered severe hypothermia. Neighbors tell police in Fox 8 the toddler's mom also has another young son, and it wasn't unusual to see her kids playing outside alone. And maybe this will be a wake-up call to a lot of you all who let your kids play outside alone, especially at these very young ages, because you have to understand, even though they can play alone, they still need adult supervision, especially staying in certain demographics of this country. You know, some places it get boiling hot, some places it get freezing cold. You need to keep that in mind also, you know, no matter what the situation is, no matter how tired you may be feeling throughout the day, keep your child first, put your child first above your own needs. If not, let them stay inside and make them stay inside. Now, Crystal Lucas, a neighbor who spoke with KTRK, said she is devastated by the news and wants to know how the toddler was left outside in the first place, which is a very good question. I've had to take the baby home because she'll be outside playing. It was a few times that I had to take both of her kids home, she said. I cried when I found out what happened because I just don't understand how a 2-year-old could be outside and you not know. That's the whole point right there. But see, when you tell people that, it sounds like you trying to basically say that these people are unfit parents or they're not very responsible for their children, which to me coincides the same, you know, because there's no way that this woman, you know, and it's good that you have neighbors around that really care. A lot of people leave your child out there. A lot of people would, if your child come to their house and ask for something to eat, just say if you are doing bad or if you are struggling. A lot of neighbors wouldn't even open up the front door, much less even ask your child what they want or even feed them. So for this woman to be so concerned and at the same time walk this other lady's kids home, you know, shows that she was a very genuine person and that she had love in her heart for kids. You feel me? But at the same time, why was these kids left outside, you know what I'm saying, without anybody monitoring them or watching them several times? So this was bound to happen one way or the other. Now, police are still investigating how the toddler got outside and no arrests have been made, but the lack of details hasn't stopped people from speculating about what may have happened. In a discussion on the Fox 59 Facebook page, some wonder how long a child was actually in the cold. And believe me, for a little child, it won't take that long. It won't take that long for a grown person. Number one, you remember the story I did about the guy that was already on parole for drinking and driving and having car wrecks and stuff, speeding. And then he happened to get into another wreck and everything, and he decides in Milwaukee, out of all places, to hide from the police and stuff, which he should have went ahead and turned himself in to the police. He would have froze to death, and he sat out there and froze to death, you know, trying to hide from the police. So it's, I mean, it don't take long at all, because before you know it, you've been slipped into hypothermia, and then that's just it, you know. Now, others simply wanted to know how a 2-year-old could be missing for any length of time without her parents realizing how quiet it was. That'll be the first thing I think about, like, damn, you know, it's quiet in here. Where my child at, just in case it did slip your mind, which it shouldn't slip your mind, but I understand people are very busy. You know, I'm just trying to make it right. Now, but many people are also calling for sympathy for the mom and her family. I sympathize with them for us losing a child, but one thing I don't sympathize is the fact that this is not, you know, a one-time thing. This was an occurrence that was going on probably 3-4 times a week. Who knows? Because the neighbor said she walked the kids home several times without any parent supervision out there, so they was left alone outside for a while. Now, it's impossible to know if this mom fell asleep or was ill, or if there are some other extenuating circumstances that led to what happened. Whatever the case may be, this toddler's death was a horrible tragedy. It should inspire all parents to keep their kids that much closer as the weather in the last few months of the winter, you know, goes away and it kind of warm up a little bit, even though it don't hardly warm up nowhere else. So I understand what they're saying, that you should be able, and this should be a warning to parents who have children, to make sure those children are in their eyesight and they know where these children are at all time, if you know what I mean. Because I know one thing, if it was my child, I would be very hurt. Number one, I'm not gonna say that wouldn't have been my child there on the porch, but just in case it was, you know, I would be very devastated. Number one, because I would feel like, number one, I failed as a parent. You know, not only did I fail my child, but I failed myself as a parent, and that it was my job and my duty, no matter how cold it was, you know, to make sure my child, because you got to understand, this is not a 10-year-old, a 12, 13-year-old, even though it could happen to them. But this is practically a toddler, a little kid, 2 years old. I mean, a 2-year-old can't fend for themselves, don't know the proper thing to do, and neither do really a 10-year-old. But a 10-year-old have a better chance at surviving like that than a 2-year-old, because they probably can damn bust a window or anything. 2-year-old not gonna think like that. But anyway, it's a sad situation. It's very sad. This little girl, Winter Parker, when you see her, she's a beautiful little girl, and it's sad that she lost her life because of careless mistakes because a lack of adult supervision. Because I guarantee you, if she would have had some kind of adult supervision there, none of this would have happened. So it's a very sad, unfortunate situation. So let me know what you all think in the comment section about this video right here. And also, if you want to share some stories about children that you know, even though it may not have to be cold, that you done seen outside, and that you don't have to escort back to their house because there was a little children. I done seen little babies in the street. You feel what I'm saying? I done had to get out of my car and actually, you know what I'm saying, sit there and wait for a police to come, you know, trying to find out who these kids parents are, you know, and the police should take the child with them and they'll do whatever they do. But I done had all kinds of situations where kids that came to my house hungry, you know, don't even know me. They'll see me outside of my yard washing my vehicles or doing whatever, and they'll you know, they'll wave and stuff. They'll speak, and about like a month later or a couple weeks later, you know, it'd be that same child, whoever, knocking on the door or walking in my yard if I'm outside. Most time I'll be outside. They wait till I'm outside and ask could they have Someday hunger or anything like that, or could I give them a couple dollars because they got this event going on at school. So it's not, it's not no uncommon thing for me to have to interact with children and also, you know, in some kind of way help them, because I do have a heart for children. I do love children. But let me know what you all think about this video. If you like the video, push that like button. If you like, subscribe, definitely share the video to y'all. Till next time, y'all stay blessed and love those children. Watch those children, because you got to understand, just because the child plays in a house at 2-year-old does not mean it can go outside and play in the freezing cold at 2 years old. You know, let this be a lesson to you all, and you know, let it pull your coattail at the same time and let you know that you have to be cautious and aware of your surroundings. Y'all stay blessed. I'm out.